Let's talk about the mysterious death of 3 members of crime intelligence who are working in an operation that involves serious individuals. However, there are things that remain unanswered in their death. Number one being the fact that the tracker is deactivated 100 kilometers away from the crime scene. Ordinarily, in a vehicle, that usually is not the case. Their cell phone networks is also difficult to track. We all know, and we have seen it in other cases such as the Senzo Meyiwa trial, that when a human being travels, their cell phone networks will be connected to the nearby tracker, and we could follow their direction through the network towers around them. But in this case, all of that is neither here or there, and we're supposed to take that. 3 members of South African Police Service who works as the crime intelligence officers traveled from Bloemfontein to Limpopo in a Volkswagen Polo. 2 are assigned to Operation Vula Umkoti, which targets illegal mining syndicates. 3rd officer is based at Polar Road, SAPS in Bloemfontein. A CCTV footage captures the officers fueling their car at Midrand petrol station. Then they disappear. Nobody knows. Then we're supposed to take that. Another mysterious thing that happens here is that whilst there was a search for 3 police officers, a 4th police officer emerged. And that is a man who works at Littleton police station in Centurion. One interesting thing that remains a mystery is they are traveling from Free State to Limpopo. They passed through Joburg, Centurion. They were last seen at Midrand. Littleton is a police station situated in Centurion, which is also not far from Midrand. The police officer whose body was found there, he resides somewhere around around Hennops River, which is also not far from Littleton police station, which is where we found the bodies of these 3 people, 3 members of crime intelligence. And we're supposed to take that as a coincidentally, 4 police officers found in one place, but they are from different locations. Questions have been asked about this and continues to be asked. One concerned citizen asked the following: their vehicle is not yet found. Secondly, the intersection of N1 Hennops River Highway is underpass, and road keeping wouldn't have taken them into Limpopo. The question is, what were they doing there? Point number 3, their tracker was deactivated close to Gramsmere, which is 100 kilometers away from the crime scene. What we want to find out is, where were these individuals traveling to? Who was involved here? How is it that their bodies are found in one place? Let's continue with this series. The mysterious death of 3 police officers, to which a 4th individual emerged. My interest with the 4th individual who works at Littleton police station is also how the wife reacts as stipulated by the general, Mr. Fanima Simula. Giving description about the three officers, we know they were traveling. Their point of departure was Bloemfontein, and their destination is Limpopo. So they had to pass through Johannesburg via N1, but they are found in a route that is not going to Limpopo. That question we park. We park the question of their tracker being deactivated 100 kilometers away from the crime scene. We park that because ordinarily a car will have more than one tracker, and two, when a car has if a car has got more than one tracker, we all know. I was a victim of hijacking. When that happened, they try to get the tracker, and they will deactivate a tracker number one, only to find that there are more tracker, maybe two or three in one vehicle. We all know that tracker companies these days, they understand that they can't install one tracker. So their tracker is deactivated. The question is, how is it that these people or their tracker accidentally get deactivated? Who must have known where to find all the tracker device in that car? That remains a mystery. We're going to park this for now. We are not going to interrogate the question as to who directs everybody to the river. Their bodies are found there. We are not going to interrogate that, at least not yet. At this moment, I want us to shift our focus and focus on police number 4, which is the man who works at Littleton police station, which is in Centurion, which is where Hennops is situated. That is where their bodies were found. The man works at Littleton police station, and Littleton police station is not far from Hennops river. The very river, the family lives 1 kilometer away from that river. The man who works at Littleton police station, on the 26th of April 2025, he leaves his family that lives 1 kilometer away from that river, visit his friends, as the wife relate the story, visit his friends. He doesn't come back on time, at least. The wife goes to sleep. That is on a Saturday, which was on the 26th of April. The wife wake up midnight towards the morning, which now takes us to the 27th of April, which is now Sunday morning. Remember, we are coming from Saturday the 26th. The wife goes to sleep. Then midnight, just after midnight, the wife wakes up. The wife opens her phone, realizes that, okay, since the husband is not here, she opens her phone, activate the tracker app to see where the husband is. The wife sees that the husband is 1 kilometer, the car is 1 kilometer away. The wife goes back to sleep. She wakes up on the Sunday, 27th of April. From the morning, the wife does nothing. The wife doesn't report the missing of a man, of her husband. Nothing happens, as the story is being told by the South African Police Service. But it shall be remembered that the car is 1 kilometer away. My assumption is she might have opened the app during the day. Even maybe during the day is a bit far. When she wakes up, she might have opened the app and saw that the app is saying the car is 1 kilometer away. Ordinarily, okay, maybe she will understand. That is the 27th. She wakes up the whole day, until sunset. She goes to sleep. The car is 1 kilometer away. She wakes up on the 28th of April. That is Monday. The car is 1 kilometer away. Something will then happen on the 28th, as the story is being told by the South African Police Service General Fanema Simula. A passerby saw a body from that river and then notified the authorities. That is when the search happens. This search that is triggered by a person who saw this body, a passerby, leads to the discovery of the 3 members of Intelligence unit, which on the 29th of April 2025, it then leads to a big breaking news that shakes the entire country. But questions still remain unanswered. Before the minister, General, which is the Commissioner of South African Police Service, General Fanema Simula, arrives. The discovery or the breaking news happens around 10-11 a.m. towards 12 p.m. on the 29th, which is Tuesday. It's on a Tuesday. There's hype around the country about that. Later, around 4-5 p.m. 6, General Fanema Simula is on the crime scene. He gets briefed from the crime scene. We see him moving around because there were now cameras. News are there. All the media house, they are represented there. They've got their members there following the general. He finally gets to address the press conference. He calls a press conference there and there. And he addressed the public. In his address, he says this:
I don't bear the good news this evening. We have hoped to find our 3 police officers safe and unharmed. Unfortunately, this is not the case. It is with deep sorrow that I confirm that our 3 members have been found together with 2 other bodies. One being of an administration clerk or a gardener from Littleton police station. On Monday, our investigation and the search led us to Hennops River, where we are standing now, with the assistance of our drones, the cybercrime unit, the DPCI, the crime intelligence, counterintelligence, the Gauteng traffic air wing, the Bidvest Protea coin security. We found pieces of vehicle parts believed to be of a Volkswagen Polo along the N1, just where we were now, next to the bridge. And we started searching the river, and still yesterday, and we found a Renault Kango panel van. Our Saps and Swane divers immediately commenced with the search. There we discovered 2 bodies. One was that of a driver of the Renault panel van, who it just came to light that it is one of our employees attached to Littleton police station. This employee, according to the wife, visited friends around the area on Saturday afternoon, and he did not come back. The wife do confirm, however, that by Sunday morning around 2 o'clock, she checked the track of the vehicle and she saw the vehicle is 1 kilometer away from the house. They stay around Hennops Park. And she never doubted anything. Unfortunately, she did not report him missing until yesterday, where after a passerby alerted police that there is a vehicle in the river, and our search and rescues then went to search and found the body, that's when she was informed that she acknowledged that it was her husband. So to go back to our 3 policemen, as I said yesterday, we found 2 bodies, and then because it was dark, we had to abandon the search and proceed today. And this morning we found the 3rd body, which was discovered, which believed to be that of Constable Linda. We further found a decomposed body, which we are still trying to identify. We don't know who this person is. And later this afternoon, we certainly found the 5th body, which was confirmed to be that of Constable Base. The families, I briefed them earlier, but when I briefed them, by that time we have yet found Constable Base, but they have since went to the mortuary where they all identified their loved ones. The search is still continuing, as we have not yet found the vehicle. Our investigation is continuing. We do not want to speculate at this stage. We have partially some closure in that we found the 3 members or 4 members, and we are still continuing the search with a view to find the vehicle, and the investigation will reveal as to what has happened. We do not want to jump into conclusions, but at this stage we can say, yes, we have seen where the vehicle went into, the embankment went into the river, and we would like to thank the task team for the work that they've been doing, and also for the families for the tolerance they had from day one up to this very, very moment. It is a sad day indeed for us as a Saps family, and of course all the family members of our 3 members. As I said, we will continue with our investigation, and then we will until we find the vehicle and also do investigation on the vehicle. I thank you very much.
Thank you so much, colleagues. That were
Questions shall remain unanswered. Remember, I said we've got one person who is the wife and the husband. The husband is no more. The wives give us a story. The problem is, what really happened? The wife hasn't said anything. I hope and wish that one day we will hear her side of the story. Because as it stands, the story remains a mystery. There are questions that I want us to revisit. Constable Boipelo Senoge, she was just 24 years of age when she passed away. We will revisit some of this later on. But it's also worth noting the fact that Hennops River then becomes a crime scene. How did we go from looking for 3 police officers to finding 5 bodies in that river? Who told the South African Police Service rescue team to go and search at Hennops River? Maybe we need to revisit this and say their vehicle tracker their vehicle is not yet found. The intersection at N1, Hennops River and highway is underpass, and road Hippen wouldn't have taken them to Limpopo. The tracker is deactivated close to Gramsmere, 100 kilometers away from the crime scene. Somebody's got to explain this. Yes, there are people who disagree with the notion, but somebody then comes back and say, listen, you don't know what you're talking about. Frame 3 of the original post shows SuperSport Stadium lights in the background, which is on the N1 just after John Foster off-ramp before Erasmus Park, which is the correct route when heading to Emalahleni or Limpopo. The first concerned citizen comes back and says, listen, you are too forward. Frame 1, Hennops River is the green bit. That intersection doesn't take you to Polokwane, but inside, or it takes you inside Centurion. Frame 2 is the exit to Polokwane. It is the N1/N14 intersection to exit back. Number 2 is incorrect. There's following Hennops River before the underpass. The South African Police Service will then make this report and say, it is with great sorrow that I confirm that our 3 members have been found. Constable Senoche, Linda, and Biles, together with 2 other bodies. One being a gardener that is attached to Littleton Police Station. The families were taken to mortuary where they have identified the bodies of their children and their loved ones. General Fanny Masemola, General Fanny Sehlahle Masemola, the National Commissioner of the South African Police Service. It shall be remembered that I said, these are very young people. It shall be remembered that I said, they were working in a very complicated mission. And that was to track down syndicates that works on a mine. People who can afford. People who can call the shots because they've got the money. A question then being posed by another concerned citizen who says, if it wasn't for the 3 constables disappearing, how were the cops going to find those other bodies in Hennops River? The government is failing us. I'm pissed. Crime is a disease that's slowly killing South Africans. The chairperson of police committee in Parliament also extend his condolences and say, the chairperson of the local parliamentary portfolio committee on police, Mr. Lynn Cameron, extend heartfelt condolences to the families, friends, and colleagues of Constable Kamokhetswe Bais, Constable Boipelo Senoche, and Constable Tebekulu Linda, whose bodies have been recovered from Hennops River in Centurion. The chairperson acknowledged the tireless effort of the South African Police Service team over the past 6 days in search of the missing members. In addition to the 3 constables, 2 other bodies were discovered or recovered, including that of an PSA member from the Littleton Police Station. At this stage, investigations are still ongoing to determine the circumstances around this tragic event. The chairperson urges that the process be allowed to The chairperson urges that the process be allowed to proceed thorough and without speculations. The committee thoughts are with the affected families and the broader SAPS community during the profoundly difficult time. We now know, and we know it as a matter of fact. I want to read questions that will lead, or people's comments that will lead to something. There's a question that has been asked by a family member when they get taken to the crime scene. And the question opens us into some kind of like detective. It activates the detective mood in us, or mode in us. We're going to get into that question. A concerned citizen says, it doesn't make sense how convenient for the unrelated policemen to also be disappear and be found at the same place where initial missing constable are at Hennops River. we dealt with this matter where I told you I don't understand this. SAPS looking for 3 constables that went missing. Instead, they found 5 bodies in Hennops River. This is a lot. Now, another concerned citizen says, I don't believe the 3 police officers died due to an accident. The guide rail on the bridge have been damaged for long. These are pictures taken 3 months ago on Google Maps. Something is amiss here. Hennops River. Now, a family member asked a question along these lines, and it is the question that we're about to get into now. The family member asked about the barricades around the river. And it is worth noting the fact that this place is also been said to be they've seen a lot or high number of accidents have occurred on this very same place. But we'll get there. Only damaged barricade remains on N1 North Bridge over the Hennops River in Centurion this morning. This is where police believe the vehicle of the 3 Free State constable veered over the last week. Okay? Now, another concerned citizen says, according to Google Maps, Ben Skimmen Highway N1 North next to Hennops River, pictured according to Google's map, the officers were allegedly driving at night in the rain. But remember that we already established that, number one, if they were driving on the rain, on the highway, the first problem that we must establish is, if the river is here and there's a road at the top, definitely everywhere on our freeways generally, you will find a freeway and then barricades, then a river below. So in this case, we must then establish how the car moved from the top down to the river. At this moment, now that we know that the road that we're traveling in doesn't take them to Limpopo, so where or what is actually going on here? Because this doesn't add up. But we'll come back and interrogate this even a bit further. The car is not yet found because obviously it contains sensitive information which is being covered up in this Hennops River case. 3 police, all from the intelligence. 1 police and administrator from different police station. Make it make sense to me. In other words, they all died in Centurion, 1 river, Hennops River, but they are from different places. A car similar to the VW Polo will be planted in the Hennops River this week, and we will be told that the SAPS have recovered the car, and they will assure that it gets a lot of coverage. Watch the space. According to National Police Commissioner, the wife of the 1 guy whose body was found in Hennops River had not reported him missing. She told the police that she thought her husband was with his colleagues. Please note the word. When the wife is asked about this, she says, "No, but I thought my wife was with colleagues." Now this begins to make a bit of sense now. Okay? 3 members of crime intelligence are traveling from Free State to KZN, to Limpopo. They pass through Centurion. They are there in Centurion. Then suddenly they go missing. A member of South African Police Service, who's just an ordinary member, works at Littleton Police Station, which is it's not far from Hennops River, leaves 1 kilometer away from Hennops River and died at Hennops River, and his body is recovered there together with these 3 people. The wife says, I thought my husband was with the colleagues. I move. The next concerned citizen says, another important question from the family. Now, this is where it's gonna get interesting. Another important question from the family. Can the SAPS confirm the site barrier was not damaged from an old accident prior to this alleged incident? The answer is no. Because according to South African Police Service, there was always cars falling into Hennops River when it rains. Okay? Now, this then takes us to the question that was asked by one family member. The family member here asked this very important question live on television, on national television. And I want to take you to this family member when the family member was there on a crime scene, talking about the barricades next to the river, and ask a question, and said that, and asked the question in this way.
Yeah. Can you confirm, embankment? Can you confirm to us that it was after they got lost, or it has been like this before?
Where we believe that the vehicle would have made an impact. And then we also observed here some of the pieces of a Volkswagen. And there was the pieces of a grill, which matches the color, exactly. Because it was creamy, that vehicle. So it matches that. And then there were pieces of Volkswagen down there. So it made us to suspect that we are at the right place. All these leads that I indicated.
Can you confirm, embankment? Can you confirm to us that it was after they got lost, or it has been like this before?
This one is subject to investigation, so I can't confirm that. But it may be, it may not, but it's subject to investigation. Yeah. You can see here. See, even there, if you go this way. Yeah. You must watch out. Okay.
Now, suppose in general there was an accident.
Yeah.
Now the car flew over to the river.
Yeah.
Is the tire of that river, that's the one that it can sweep the car away?
Yes. Remember on Thursday, like I'm saying, this river was full.
Okay.
And it was, you can see now it has subsided, but it was very high, you know. And once the car sort of falls or any object, it would have been swept. In fact, as you go, yeah, further down.
Further
and
down?
you can see
No,
there.
Yeah. Or further down there.
Yeah.
Okay. Now the bodies, you say they were found 500 meters.
Yeah, from here.
From here.
Yeah, downstream. Yeah.
And the other body was found 6 kilometers downstream.
Yeah, downstream. So it was swept beyond, because the other body was trapped by debris.
Okay.
You know, the branches and
Which other body? From the two or from the one that you found today?
No, the two of yesterday. There were 500 meters from here. The other one was trapped and it was exposed to weather.
Okay.
That is why, yes. And then the other one, it was trapped, but it was still underneath the water. That is why it was a little bit better. It was not so decomposed. That was yesterday.
Now, one other question. The car has not been found as yet.
No, we are still investigating. We are still tracing
Let's
the
suppose that
vehicle.
the accident happened on Thursday morning. Today is Tuesday. We have found the bodies, and but we have not found the car. Isn't that strange?
Yeah, for us, yes, we can't exclude anything. It's a bit strange, but we are looking. We are investigating and looking for the vehicle. In fact, we found other 2 vehicles here downstream.
And that's where my next question comes. Isn't it strange that all of a sudden there's vehicles being found here? I mean, this area now seems to be accident prone. Now that vehicles are falling in and you are finding bodies in here. Isn't that strange? I mean, I'm just asking.
Well, I can't say it's strange because this road, when it rains, normally there will be water. And if you don't know it and you drive with speed, you can easily lose control.
Yeah. Can you confirm, Embankment Group, can you confirm to us that it was after they got lost or it has been like this before?
So, what actually happened? This is a question that troubles me every time I think about the story because I don't understand. There are things that doesn't make sense in the story, but I've got to make it make sense because I'm a human being. Another concerned citizen says, this doesn't add up. Searching for 3 people then end up with 5 bodies at Hennops River. And from N1 engine garage to Centurion, now comes a tracker and cell phone. Last reception was at engine. All the cameras on the N1 didn't pick up anything from Lanesia. Something is off here. When we speak, the minister tells us not to voice out our opinion because we are perpetuating speculations. So the minister says. But the story is a story that we're not going to let it go until we get some answers. GPS photos from 3 months ago show the barrier on that Hennops riverside as damaged already. As you might have seen it. So now we know that the barricade on the road was damaged, has been damaged. As it is with any normal infrastructure in this country. You can't expect it to somehow have faults in it or it's not replaced or damaged. It's a known thing in this country. It doesn't caught me by surprise. I am not surprised at all. Now let's move on to the next concerned citizen who says, here is another reason why I say the timeline doesn't add up. According to the CCTV, the car was seen at Engine Garage Gramsmere at 0:38 a.m. According to the South African Police Service, the accident happened at 2:12 a.m. That's like 22 minutes apart. Timeline doesn't add up. When we ask this question, the minister tells us, no, guys, do not ask these questions. You are perpetuating speculation. But these are the questions we deserve answers for. Also, according to the South African Police Service, another concerned citizen says, the car crashed and went over the barricade, hence the damaged barrier. However, we can see below that this barrier at Hennops River has been like this for at least 3 months. So they cannot prove that indeed that barrier was fine before the accident. Now I'm going to say, to simplify things for you, if they say it was fixed, as we see this from a Google map, then we've got to explain the following. If you say it was fixed, we say no problem. Show us the contractor, if it was a contractor. Tell us the date, show us the date, the proof that on this date it was replaced. If it was a government department that replaced it, tell us the Department of Public Works replaced it on this date. Show us the invoices when you were purchasing the material. Show us the work permit. Show us all the records in relation to this. And someone, somehow, must have seen them fixing this and must have known. We will need those records. Otherwise, this story doesn't make sense. Another concerned citizen says this. SAPS better not lie to us about the Hennops River discovered bodies being an accident. This is giving the heavyweights we're about to be exposed for something big. Also them sending a clear message. They better not fucking lie with us. So this then demonstrates the anger of people. I thought to myself, I need to bring this to your attention so you can understand how frustrated people are with the story. Not only are the members of the family affected by the story, and how not only are they frustrated, not only do they want the truth because I've listened to them, also members of public wants the truth. Also members of the public, they spot things that doesn't add up in the story. Hence, they are calling for answers. I've given you a lot. We are probably coming to an end of this episode. But this is not an end of the story. But this is an end of this specific episode. But the end is not yet here. Because another concerned citizen says this. I'm following this case closely. 3 Free State police officers, Tabekulu Linda, Kamakhetso Bais, and Bopelo Sinoche, went missing while traveling to Limpopo last week. Now, 5 bodies have been pulled from the Hennops River in Centurion. 2 of them believed to be the missing officers, identified through clothing. That officer and VW Polo they were driving are still missing. I'm deeply interested to know exactly what happened here. How did officers vanish between provinces? Why were their bodies found in a river far from their route? What about the other unidentified bodies? What's their story? This is more than a missing person case. It raises serious questions about safety, crime intelligence, and well-being of police officers themselves. We need answers. We need the truth. I shall continue to monitor this, but I tell you the truth. This leaves a lot to be desired. Another concerned citizen says the Hennops River flows through Centurion CBD, passes under the N1, and continues towards Ben Skimmen Highway. There's no way SAPS car could have been swept away without anyone seeing it. The river has ramps and barriers again. These people were brutally killed. I say to you, unless otherwise, there's another discovery. Unless otherwise, somebody gets arrested. Unless otherwise, the story that we are given right now doesn't make sense. Somebody calls it a river of secrets. SAPS crime intelligence officers and gardener were found dead in Hennops River. The story of the missing constable and their victim is a heartbreaking end to a tragedy. Looks like the Hennops River has become dumping site of horrendous crimes. This takes us to probably not the last or the end of this episode, but just closer to the end of this episode. Because I've got 2 letters from MK Party and EFF that have commented on the story. So, we move from just concerned citizens who are voicing out their dissatisfaction to political parties who are sending their condolences to the families. Maybe I need to start with the MK Party on this one. Then I will end with the EFF. Those are the only statements that I came across. On the 29th of April, 2025, the MK party released a statement that would have been on a Tuesday. Umkhonto wesizwe party statement on the tragic passing of 3 SAPS constables. The Umkhonto wesizwe party extended its deepest and most heartfelt condolences to their families, friends and colleagues of 3 South African police service constables whose bodies were tragically recovered from the Hennops River. We mourn the loss of these brave officers who had dedicated their lives to the noble duty of safeguarding our community and upholding the rule of law. Their services and sacrifice shall not be forgotten. As a nation, we are indebted to the courage and the commitment demonstrated by our law enforcement officers, and the death of these constables are a painful reminder of risk they face daily in their line of duty. We call on the relevant authorities to expedite investigation into the circumstances surrounding this heartbreaking incident. Should any foul play be uncovered, swiftly and decisive action must be taken without delay. Justice must prevail not only to honor the memory of these officers, but also to reassure the public that the safety of the law enforcement personnel remain a national priority. May their soul rest in eternal peace, and may their families find strength during these times of sorrow. The end of the letter from MK Party. Economic freedom fighter or fighters. That will be on Tuesday, the 29th of April 2025, released a statement and said, the Economic Freedom Fighters, EFF, extend its condolences to the families, friends, and colleagues of Linda Tabekulu 24, Buipelo Senoka 24, and Kamakhala by 30, 3 South African police service members whose lives were tragically cut short, whose bodies, along with 2 civilians, were recently recovered from the Hennops River in Gauteng. According to reports, the trio had left Bloemfontein for Limpopo on Wednesday evening last week, were last seen alive at that time. They were returning to their work base after revisiting families in Free State. That these young public servants met such a horrific and unexplained end is a tragic. We commend the rescue and an investigation team who worked tirelessly to recover the 5 bodies, utilizing drone technology, enduring challenging conditions to bring the remain home. In addition to the 3 South African police members identified, 2 other bodies who are also recovered from the Hennops River. The 4th body has now been identified as that of a male administrator from Littleton police station, while the 5th body, which was found in a state of decomposition, has not yet been identified. This development is deeply concerning. The presence of multiple bodies in one river system within a short time frame and geographic radius suggests a broader and possibly coordinated pattern of violence that demands urgent and thorough investigation. The EFF urges authorities to work with agency to identify the last individual and notify the family. No family should have to endure uncertainty about the fate of their loved ones. Every life lost deserves dignity, justice, and closure. EFF continues to say, the EFF calls for full and transparent investigation into the death of these South African police officers and civilians. National Police Commissioner General Fanny Masemola must provide answers not only to the families but to the public about what happened, why, and who must be held accountable. The country deserves to know whether these are isolated incidents or something far criminal and sinister. May their soul May the souls of the departed rest in revolutionary peace. We hold their loved ones in our thoughts and remain committed to demanding answers and justice in their names. It gets so irritating talking about this, making this long video, trying to understand this. But I'm going to tell you this. Going forward, we're not going to make a long video. We're just going to break it down as it comes, but we're not going to let it go. We will continue to look at the information available to us and explore every option. This is not the last time you hear any information about this. But questions remains unanswered. And I want to know, what more we may not know? How many more people? Why? How? The man works at Littleton police station, lives 1 kilometer away from the river, Hennops River. The wife says, I thought he's with his colleagues. Then it turns out 3 members of South African Police Service traveling from Free State to who coincidentally drifted from the path, the freeway that takes them to Limpopo, and they were found in a place that is somehow far kilometers away from the right direction. Coincidentally, we're supposed to take this and say, these are the true fact of the situation. These are the true reflection of the situation. There's something sinister about this. And I want to remind you of the fact that these members of crime intelligence were investigating people who have money. Money to make things go away, or not saying anything, I'm just saying. As I read here, it says that 3 South African crime intelligence officers traveling from Bloemfontein to Limpopo in a Volkswagen Polo, 2 are assigned, because this is the most important thing, 2 are assigned to Operation Vala Umkoti, which targets illegal mining syndicates. Now, the word that you need to focus in there is mining. What do you find in mining? Gold. You know, most when it comes to gold, it equals to, or it equates to more money. That's 1. 2, note the word syndicate. So they were not dealing with a person like you and I here, a person that they can easily deal with, a person that they can easily defeat. They were not dealing with people like that. They were dealing with specific a specific group of powerful criminals who cannot be stopped from mining gold illegally. But often these groups does not operate in isolation. They never operate in isolation. And in fact, when you talk about serious crimes committed in anywhere, there is always authorities involved in that. So when there is illegal mining, there is guns involved, serious firearms that are involved there. And the question that you have to ask is, how do you access such powerful weapons? If you don't want to see that, you're just going to go at Primrose, around Jimston. Just look at what is happening in those shacks. You will realize those guys can take your life at any given time with just 1 bullet, because of the types of firearms that they are using. Such a powerful firearms, not even 2, 3, multiple of them. We have seen videos of such people, just the underground people that are securing the place where the others go down and dig gold. There was a story that was on the media of people that got trapped in a mine not long ago. People who emerge from that mine tells you that even the people that are down there are people who are heavily armed there, who controls what is happening down there. And there are people who sit here at the top. When they come up with the gold, there are people who are sitting at the top. But all these people that are in the ground, down in there, the ones sitting here outside, securing everything here, all those people, they're not working for themselves. They have bosses higher than them, and the bosses higher than them, they've got bosses higher than them. But what is of greater interest to you and I is, despite the chain that I've just named here, focus not on the chain, at least at this moment, suspend that. The question is, how do you sell this gold? How do you transport this gold? That is when you realize that that's when big players, that's when people with power, that's where they come in. People with power, that's where they come in. So stories like this, like these, tells you of individuals with certain power. It's display of their power. That's basically what we are seeing. Imagine these individuals that are able to sell gold. If they're able to smuggle this gold, sell it somewhere else, then it tells you of their power. They cannot just easily do that. By passing all the laws where the gold can easily be traced to a certain mine, which sells gold, which digs and sell gold legally. But these ones, they do that illegally and still be able to sell it and make more profit and equip the people on the ground with dangerous weapons. How do they get those things? This is a description of the power that is with these syndicates that these two members of crime intelligence were investigating. They were not investigating amateurs here. They were investigating people with power. People whose lives, who have big houses somewhere in Sentin, somewhere in Mhlanga, somewhere in Cape Town. These are the people that they were investigating. Those are the people that they were investigating. They were not investigating people like you and I on the ground. No. They were investigating people with power. That's the first thing that you need to note about this incident. It's a description of what happened when you investigate people with power and they are about to lose their wealth. They will never take it kindly. And that's exactly what we have seen. Furthermore, what we then learn from the situation is sometimes you are alone. We hate to acknowledge that, but sometimes you are alone. You work for an organization, but you are alone. The question that has to be asked here is, if you have people investigating such a serious thing, and they had to travel such a long distance, why wouldn't you back them up in any way, shape, or form? Why wouldn't you protect them? Up until they are done with their mission, why wouldn't you protect them? Yes, I'm not saying they need to be escorted in blue lights, but I'm saying they need, whenever they travel, it would have been nice for them to just get a helicopter or get into a flight from Free State to Limpopo. They are working in a most powerful and dangerous project. Why would you allow them to travel on the ground? That's another question to me that remains unanswered. But who is here to answer our questions? Does anybody cares? Because the loss of a life, to some people, it's less problem. Message sent. If you ever do it again, no matter who you are, you see these people, how they died. That's how you're going to die. Because that's the message that is being sent. The question is, who is in control? Is it the South African Police Service? Is it the government? Or it's the criminal? Or some officials are involved in the very smuggling of gold. And most of the time, politicians. Who wouldn't dare who wouldn't allow any human being to interrupt their bread?